this is going to be a little project that myself and my good friend Finley are going to be working on for the next little while. We're just going to, we're calling this Bad Dialogue. And basically what will happen is we're going to look at a couple movies each week before we upload at the end of each week. But we're not going to share our opinions with each other until we actually record. So there's a sense of authenticity with our reactions. And then we'll probably just talk about some sort of big news that's been happening in the world of cinema. So we're going to focus on the Oscars today. My name's Connor, and
I'm Finley. So this week we both watched Velvet Buzzsaw. It's a new Netflix film with Jake Gyllenhaal, Toni Collette. It has a really, really good cast.
And Natalie Dyer from Stranger Things, who probably needs a little PTSD after
that was who she was. Yeah.
From dealing with like demigorgons to art murders. There will be some spoilers potentially throughout this, so if you haven't seen these movies, maybe go watch them and then come back and check us out.
Warning.
So Finley, what did you think of it?
I hated it. I absolutely hated it. Yeah.
Why?
I thought it was rubbish. So it has a really good setup. In my opinion, it sets it up really well. And then it's really boring. It's really, really boring in my opinion.
See, I actually found it the opposite. I found it really engaging.
You really liked it?
And I think part of the reason was maybe because, first of all, you'd set my bar incredibly low for it. So
yeah, like, I did tell you already that
it could only be good.
Yeah.
When you set it that low. I thought that, like, because I didn't really check out the trailer. I maybe briefly saw it on my Netflix feed when I was just scrolling through for something to watch. And I barely paid attention to it. So when you kind of were like, you should check out the new movie from the director of Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Dan Gilroy.
Yeah, Dan Gilroy. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I really, really liked it.
I can't believe you actually enjoyed it.
I liked it because it kind of, it drew me into a world that I feel like I didn't really know through, like, sort of, whilst the characters in it aren't exactly... there's nothing really kind of like appealing about them in terms of, like, you know, they're not nice people, but you kind of are drawn into the world, and then, you know, you kind of become entrenched in it when they start following this guy's art, this deceased man's art. And then I was very surprised when all the supernatural happenings happened. I was like, oh, okay, this is taking a change.
And you like that? I guess that's the part of the film that I liked. I liked the deaths, but they weren't even that interesting. Like, when you compare it to films like Final Destination stuff, they're not good films either, but at least they know what they are. They know their films, that is, the gimmick is literally just killing people in interesting ways. I was like, oh, at least they're gonna kill people in interesting ways.
It kind of was a conversation though about, like, making money at what cost. Like, you know, the Jake Gyllenhaal, he kind of is like, listen, like, you know, we're like monetizing this, but, like, at what cost? Like, people are, like, literally, like, dying.
Yeah, so, that's what I liked about the premise. I like that they set that up. And they were like, this is going to be an exploration.
It was a conversation about like
art exploiting people, or not exploiting people, but just selling stuff that to a value which it isn't actually valued at. And I was like, oh, that'll be interesting. But then it completely loses it, in my opinion. It completely it doesn't talk about it, and it doesn't explore that at all, and it just kills people. That's it.
Yeah, people definitely there's definitely some dying in this film.
Oh, 100%.
I liked it though. I think the strength of the film is the performances, for sure. I think, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal always does a very kind of, you know,
that's weird that you say that.
I thought he was. I think him and Toni Collette.
Yeah, I thought Toni Collette was really good.
I mean, she's Toni Collette. You know, she's not really put a foot wrong recently.
She's doing really well for herself.
Hereditary.
But in terms of Jake Gyllenhaal, you thought that was a good
I thought it was a good performance. I thought it was sort of just sort of usual, like, very, like, charismatic. Again, almost borderline kind of strange. Not Nightcrawler strange, but obviously his character in this is the opposite of the Lewis character in Nightcrawler, because that Lewis is, if anything, it's kind of a contrast. You know, Lewis is make money no matter what. Like, they're filming crime scenes, and he's, you know, he gets to the point where he becomes so enthralled and, like, obsessed with, like, money and kind of the culture of his work, that he kind of doesn't care about, like, moral standards, whereas the Gyllenhaal character does in this film.
So, what do you think was the most entertaining death?
The most entertaining death in the film? I liked there's a scene where Billy Magnuson's character is driving off into the desert, and he's
it's the first one, right? I think that's
the first guy to go. But what I liked about that was you're not really sure what happened to him.
Yeah, because a lot of the characters, they talk about how he kind of wandered off into the desert, but then we saw that he got pulled into a painting by monkeys, I think.
He did, that's right, yeah. So, yeah, and then obviously at the end, remind me the name of... I only saw it yesterday, but that's really bad. I can't even remember the name of the English actress that plays in the film.
What character is she?
She's the one that finds the art.
Don't name.
Well, that character.
Yeah,
I mean, she sort of personifies like what I think the director's going for. She like.
I thought she was really bad.
You didn't enjoy her performance?
I thought she was really, really bad. And I thought her death scene was so weak.
It was weird, wasn't it?
I hated it.
It was odd.
Yeah, really.
But then I liked how at the end she's outside that bar, but she's in the painting.
She's in the graffiti on the wall. Yeah, I thought that was quite cool. But the whole the paint going up her legs and stuff like that, I was like, this sucks.
Finley, man, that's what he's going for. He's just.
And then what do you make about the ending?
I thought that was when her like neck gets when she's murdered by a tattoo. Yeah. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, same.
I was one of those things I was trying to like sort of spend a lot of time like figuring out what the meaning of that might be, and at the end I just thought I think he's just killed her for the sake of like just a bit of gore to leave us with a sour note.
Yeah, because it was like she was trying to get rid of all the art in her house, and she was like, I'm finally safe. And
then if you look at the
tattoos are also art. I thought I was like, come on, and I thought sucks.
And then because obviously the bit at the end when she sat there out in her garden and she's recreating, not unbeknownst to her, the painting that's on her wall that she puts down.
Yeah, what did you make of that?
I thought that was quite sort of. I mean, at that point you knew she was done.
Yeah,
and it was quite a good ending because again, perfect example. Like she's like scheming with lawyers and stuff, and they're like saying you found it. You found it in a dumpster. You didn't find it in the guy's house. To the other character. So she was the shallowest and. A fitting end.
So would you recommend this film?
Yeah, I would.
You ought to.
I actually would. I think if you enjoy just a bit of sort of fun in the sense that like you just kind of get to watch people be sort of slashed up by paintings and art exhibits, then you should definitely go and check this out. And for the strength of the performances, I think
I have to completely disagree. I would not recommend this to anybody. I think if you're looking for a film that kills people in interesting ways, I wouldn't even suggest it. I think it's more probably the Final Destination if you're looking for something like that.
Yeah,
just go watch something like that or some schlocky horror film. I think it fails at being a comedy. It fails at being a horror.
You maybe had issues with its tone.
Yeah, it didn't blend well in my opinion, and I would not recommend it. But we also both saw Green Book.
No, I have a feeling that we were going to probably agree.
Yeah, I have a feeling we're going to agree. What did you think?
I loved it.
I loved it.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I think I loved the way that the story was told through like the eye. People kind of are talking about in the press and stuff that especially when the nominations came out, whereby Mahershala Ali's character was the supporting actor and Viggo Mortensen's character is the lead.
Yeah,
and people are kind of saying like, "Oh, are we really having another movie where we're seeing it through the perspective of sort of like a masculine white male?"
Yeah,
but you know what? Like from watching the film, that didn't really strike me. That didn't occur to me.
You thought it was more balanced.
I was so engaged in their performance. I was so engaged in their performances that for me, like, I mean, I definitely don't understand why Mahershala is maybe because the film starts with Viggo and Tony's character, Viggo Mortensen's Tony, and we are. I mean, I get that we are kind of its perspective, but I think they both hold themselves in kind of equal standing.
Oh, so you wouldn't say that Viggo is the leading actor in this film? You'd say it's more balanced. I would say he's the leading actor.
You'd say it was,
yeah.
Okay.
It's through his perspective. It's his story. Mahershala Ali is fantastic. Yeah, I think they're both great in it. What I find really good about it is they both brought a lot of depth to the characters.
Definitely.
Like,
absolutely.
At the end of the day, Viggo is playing this completely Italian American stereotype, essentially. But he still manages to bring some sort of depth to that.
Definitely.
I think that he did that really, really well. I mean, to be honest, I only saw it the other day, and I've seen most of the other Oscar. This is going a bit into the Oscar conversation later on, but I would say he's my pick for best actor.
Yeah, it's a really good performance. It's very it's physical, and he embodies, like if you've ever been to New York or whatever, and you kind of walk around. I don't you don't want to stereotype or whatever, but you do kind of like see these guys, and like it's amazing for someone that is not American. He's from Denmark originally. I mean, I understand he's probably lived in the States for periods of time and speaks fluent English and whatnot, but he's brilliant in it.
I when I originally put a short review up on Letterboxd, I had two main complaints. So the first one was that it was a bit tonally confused, because I think at times it thought, I'm gonna go into something a lot more deep and meaningful, but then it got undercut a bit by some like comedic tone, and I was like, maybe that's not been processed or developed in the right way. But again, that's very minor. And then the only other thing is that when a lot of the time, because of the tone again, the Viggo's character Tony, a lot of his bigotry they'd play it off as like charming, and I was like, I don't know if that's really fitting. That's a good point.
Yeah, I definitely see that. But you're right. I like what they kind of do with the development of the characters, because you definitely like both of them start at a point in their life, and I think by the end of the movie, like the thing that works with it is you just want to spend time with these two guys.
Yeah, that's what I had put up as well.
And for movies, like for any movie that you've ever seen, you want to have characters that are just completely like engaging, and like you just root for them.
Yeah.
Whether it's like, not like in the sense of like good versus evil, and like, someone becomes triumphant, but you want like Tony, you want Dr. Shirley to kind of have a successful tour and kind of get rid of all. I mean, some of the bits in the South when they are driving through the South, I mean, that they're like quite, for me it was quite shocking.
Yeah.
And the film really, it really kind of, and I think you're right, like I think it sets its tone, because it's quite shocking, some of the stuff, we're kind of made to believe that these Southerners at that time are very, very charming stuff, but actually they're still bad people.
Yeah.
The bit when he's playing in the he's playing for the governor of, I think it's North Carolina they're maybe in, and he requests to use the toilet.
Yeah, and he gets told to go outside.
I mean, that is like, it's like,
that's the thing. I don't know. I really enjoyed the film, but at the same time, it was like, it almost wanted to tell, it wanted to go deeper into the racial issues, the racial division, and then it kept holding itself back and be like, no, we'll play it safe. It's really a film about the friendship between these two guys. Characters.
Yeah, totally.
But that's the thing. I think a lot of people see that as a problem, but because I found it was such a pleasure to watch those two characters interact with each other.
It's the strength of the performances that really like those two performances. If they had been anything other than that, and I mean, watching that film now, could you think of any two other people doing that?
No, no.
They just I mean, I understand that Dr. Shirley's family are maybe a little bit upset with the film, I think, because he had a strained relationship with them, but I think because their performances are so wonderful that you just kind of couldn't picture anyone. They're so good.
And it's funny. It's really
very
well
funny.
Written.
It's really good.
The writing is just excellent, and all the cinematography it's like well done. It's not interesting or terribly stylistic, but it fits with the film really well.
Definitely, it's a simple film.
Yeah, 100%.
In the sense it's just two guys going on a road trip, and we explore a changing America. And
what was a bit jarring, I want to know if you noticed this, when Mahershala Ali's character, Dr. Shirley, when he was playing the piano and they went for those full body shots, obviously Mahershala Ali can't play the piano to that ability, but so they would post his head over someone else's body, and it was really, really jarring to me. That really took me out of it. Did you not notice that?
I didn't notice that. No, that's like so for you. We've talked about this. This is going off, but like, yeah, films need to figure out how to get that right, especially like nowadays, like with big budgets and stuff. So the bit in Star Wars: The Last Jedi, when Princess Leia floats through space, I completely checked out.
Oh yeah,
I was like, this is dumb. This is really just.
It's weird because it's a lot of the time when you think it's a really small thing, they could easily get it right. The thing it reminded me of, the Green Book thing. It reminded me of, you've seen Avengers Infinity War?
Yeah, I've seen it, yeah.
You know when they're fighting in Wakanda and Bruce Banner is in the big Iron Man Hulkbuster suit, and it's just his head popping out, and it's just like shaking all over the place, and it looks really awkward.
Oh no!
It looked so much like that. I was like, how can they not get that right? These have huge budgets.
They have massive budgets. Like going back to it, like God, we were just talking about Aladdin.
Oh God!
Like you think? I mean, we have issues obviously with the genie thing, as the whole internet. I think.
Yeah.
But the way I have an issue with that trailer was that there's the shot when he's posing as Prince. You know, the famous bit when he's Prince Ali and he's coming through the market to go to the palace to see Jasmine for the first time. That looks like when you go to like Frontierland at a theme park.
Yeah, we were talking about it before. It looks like a theme park. Or
it looks like a set.
Yeah.
It looks like a set. Like
exactly.
It's like, really, you can't spend money, like bump Will Smith's fee down a little bit.
That's the thing. I think they did spend the money, but they just don't know what they're going for.
It was terrible. It was
really
I don't know.
Poor. That trailer's really something.
Yeah, that's set. I mean, you know what? It might be like with me, Velvet Buzzsaw. It might be the bar has been set so low that it can only be like good.
Well, okay, so Green Book, you'd recommend?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
it was
I'd recommend it as
so
well.
much so I would probably go and see it again. Just to, I feel like it might be one of those things that the first time you see it is kind of raw, but then when you see it again, you'll take different perspectives, and I think there'll be things in it that I'll see that I didn't see the first time that I'll see the second time.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It's just it was just excellent. It was just excellent.
Yeah, who directed it? Do you know?
I don't.
Yeah, me neither. I can't, because I was trying to think, do I recognize any of his other films? But I don't think I do.
No, I haven't either.
We probably do, but we just don't know his name. But yeah, no, I'd 100% recommend it as well. That leads us quite nicely on to our picks for Best Picture. Definitely. So the Oscars are next week.
Yeah, in Los Angeles.
And what we'll do is we'll get some of the Oscar predictions up, or not the Oscar predictions, the Oscar nominations, and we're gonna go through and see what our predictions are gonna be.
Yeah. Did you watch the BAFTAs? Any big takeaways from the BAFTAs?
I thought really safe. They really played it safe with that. They gave everyone that deserved it, I think.
So I want to ask you about that. Deserving. So everyone says that Leonardo DiCaprio. Well, not everyone. I don't want to paint everyone with, but people say that Leonardo DiCaprio finally earned his Oscar. He deserved his Oscar. Do you buy into that? Because for me, right, you take each year by itself. Okay, he didn't win for a previous movie. He didn't win for The Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
But like, why should he win for The Wolf of Wall Street? There was better performances that year. Was that the year of 12 Years a Slave and all those films?
Oh, I'm not 100%, but I think so. So you don't think that he should have won for The Revenant?
Not at all.
Really? What are your thoughts on that film? Do you like that film?
The Revenant, almost kind of like Green Book in the sense you start at one place and you're trying to get somewhere else. The movie, I'll tell you what I think is a better Western that I saw recently that's better than The Revenant was this the Christian Bale Hostiles film.
Oh, I really want to
see that. You should check it out.
Didn't get a chance.
Yeah, really, really, really good. Really kind of gritty, really gritty Western. For all the people kind of say like, oh, like Leonardo DiCaprio like felt you could really like I mean maybe that was one of the strengths, but Hostiles was really gritty as well as The Revenant, but I just thought that for one, the Hostiles is shorter, so that definitely like helped its case with me.
Yeah, 100%.
Hour and a half, man. That's what you want.
I like this trend of films getting shorter, to be honest.
Definitely.
You were never really here. Great film, and it's an hour and a half. Yeah, it's brilliant.
With that being said, though, me and you love Blade. We love Blade Runner
100%.
2049, and what is it, two something hours. But it's one of those movies, like, I think that movie doesn't work unless
it's like 2.5 hours.
Because it's such a kind of complex.
All the themes are so complex. You need time to develop
to develop them, and
I've got the nominations here for the Oscars. I want to know, just really simply, who you think is going to get the Oscar for Best Picture, and who you want to get the Oscar for Best Picture.
So why don't we do who I want to get it first?
Yeah, we'll both do that. Who we want to get it first. What's your pick?
I'm telling you here right now. I want BlacKkKlansman to win.
You want BlacKkKlansman to win Best Picture?
Absolutely.
Can you justify that in any way?
I mean, I think first of all, it looks brilliant. It's kind of got that really kind of amazing look of an old movie because I think it's shot on film. So it really has that kind of old feel, but obviously with all kind of like modern techniques and stuff. I think the strength of I don't know his name, but it's Denzel Washington Jr. as his son. His performance as Ron Starlworth is excellent. Yeah. And Adam Driver's very good in it. And then I mean, and also as well, maybe the thing with BlacKkKlansman is its sense of sort of relevance. I mean, that's kind of accidental in the sense that no one kind of can predict, you know, I'm talking, of course, about like the politics of it all. You know, they kind of, there's a lot of like little subtle references to like Donald Trump and making America great again and stuff. So I think that's maybe something, you know, everyone sort of says that Hollywood's like a very kind of like liberal.
So if you think that relevance plays a part into the best picture, don't you think Black Panther is more relevant than BlacKkKlansman?
Well, I'm not sure. I can't help but wonder if like, I don't know, me and you were kind of maybe not in the whole Black Panther train as everyone else.
Yeah, not so much.
So like, if I asked you, I said, what was its strength? Like, if you had to kind of, because of like, listen, it's not a bad film.
No, by no means. Yeah.
But it's not. I don't think it has this kind of charm or just good story that like something like Thor Ragnarok had or Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's going for something else. It almost doesn't feel like a superhero film. And that's okay, because I don't know if they were really playing into that as much. But going back to our predictions. So you say you want BlacKkKlansman to win. I've seen everything but A Star Is Born at this point, and I know for a fact I won't say A Star Is Born. So
yeah, it's probably been and gone.
What I want to win is Roma. I want Roma to win.
Yeah, your team Roma.
It's between
it won the BAFTA.
It won the BAFTA, so that's a good.
It's off to a good start in the awards seats.
100%. I think it's almost equal though between my want for Roma to win and The Favourite. I think Yorgos Lanthimos is a brilliant director. He's really proved that you can come from quite a difficult background and still become quite a successful filmmaker. And The Favourite, I just enjoyed The Favourite so much. But then in terms of cinematic achievement, I think nothing competes with Roma.
Yeah, I think
so. I think both. I want Roma to take it, and I think Roma's going to take it as well. I think they're going to give it to Roma. Who do you think's going to take it?
Yeah, I was talking with my friend about this, and I had it as a three-way sort of. I had like a two kind of. I think it's between Green Book and Roma, with The Favourite with an outside chance. But if you had to kind of get me today, I think Roma will win it.
Roma. Cool.
Yeah, again, kind of going back to kind of the whole thing about, I mean, there's a kind of a relevance in modern day about kind of like difficulties and struggle and with it being a kind of, it's a black and white movie, isn't it?
Roma, yeah.
I mean, they kind of said that, you know, well, I know with the artist it was a little bit different because it didn't have any, you know, it was a silent movie.
Yeah.
But you know, that's clearly something that like, you know, cinema goers are intelligent. Like, you know, they brought out Logan again in black and white because it kind of
that was really cool. I watched that. And, that was brilliant.
It seems to not bother people.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I'm surprised that I was originally surprised that it was going straight to Netflix because it didn't seem like a film that Netflix would pick up.
Yeah,
and it didn't seem like a director that would work with Netflix. But then when I heard Alfonso Cuarón talk about why he partnered with Netflix for the film, it just made so much sense. He talked about how if he was to try and distribute black and white, Spanish speaking, subtitled film that was like 2 and a bit hours long into cinemas.
Yeah.
It was not going to be picked up and people weren't going to go see
Definitely.
it. And it's only to his benefit that he was going to put it on Netflix and get as many people as possible. Definitely. Just give people access to it so they can change their mind about, or kind of open their mind.
I do think that that's what Netflix are doing really well. Like, and that reasoning makes complete sense. There's no, do you really think that Roma would have built the traction that it would have had it got cinema?
Definitely
because
not.
Because of the nature of its film. You know, we talk about this a lot, me and you. Like, it seems to be the things that are getting greenlit these days are big budget superhero films and remakes.
Yeah, remakes.
And I do you remember when Ridley? This is kind of tying into it. Do you remember when Ridley Scott made Exodus, Gods and Kings, he got a ton of criticism because he cast Joel Edgerton as Ramses.
Yeah, Christian Bale's in
Christian Bale plays Moses.
Yeah.
And I think Sigourney Weaver is in it.
Really? So I haven't watched that.
So they're all playing Egyptian characters. And you know, he was on like the Hollywood Report or something, and the guy asked him, and he sort of said, Ridley, you know, how do you kind of, and he says, listen, it's hard to feel sympathy for Ridley Scott in the sense that he's a multi-millionaire, but you understand from like an artistic point of view, he wants these, maybe, you know, he in something in his mind warrants these films being made. He's not gonna get that made
without the big names.
It's like you know, but then obviously that's kind of started, that movie in particular actually started a conversation. Like if you look at, you know, to go back to Aladdin for example, Will Smith is really the only person that I can think of in that film that I've ever heard of. Yeah, I can't think, and they would get. I mean,
that's the thing. I kind of like that change. There's change, or there's a movement towards change in big blockbuster Hollywood films, at least. Yeah, where they're starting to cast more diverse actors and people that you haven't heard of before, but it opens you up to being able to hear of people.
And that's why I think I love Black Panther. Like that's what I loved.
I think Black Panther was probably a landmark in a brilliant conversation starter. Absolutely. And if you think about the cast there, Chadwick Boseman, he's been in some small studio films. Yeah. But this was a huge breakout role for him. And then same with Michael B. Jordan. He's been working on things like Creed, and he was in The Wire. But then again, they were probably the two biggest names. And then apart from that, the cast was relatively unknown, and now they're huge. I mean, Lupita Nyong'o. No, not her. The girl that plays Black Panther. She won the E Rising Star. Yeah, exactly. She just won a BAFTA for her performance. And I think that's going to take her far. Going back to Oscars and our predictions, let's have a look at the Best Actor category. I want you to tell me again who you want to win it and who you think the Academy are going to give it to.
Alright, so hear me out. I think that Christian Bale is so good as Dick Cheney.
Really?
And I think, do you not have like you're not as big on that performance?
No, I'm really not.
You're not?
I'm not, no.
I think when you watch, like, I watched Vice, and then I went and just watched some like old Dick Cheney, just, you know, interviews from like kind of at the time when Vice was kind of relevant, so like, you know, the Iraq War and post 9/11, that kind of thing. And the voice, the sort of slumpy nature of Dick Cheney, you know, not great posture, like that kind of thing. Yeah. He's really, really good in it, and especially the accent. The accent's really well done. So I think they will factor in, again, you know, Hollywood is quite a liberal, generally seen as a more liberal part of the USA, and I'm assuming their voters are kind of slightly more liberal. So
I think you're thinking too on the nose.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think if they're gonna go with that kind of leaning towards that kind of vote, they would go with Viggo Mortensen. Because that's a much safer bet than giving it to someone that literally played the vice president of the United States. I think it's a much safer. So I think, but then at the end of the day, I don't think either of those two people are going to get it.
So I think Bale stands a chance. I don't think he'll be completely like disregarded by the Academy. I think he definitely has a shot, but I think
it's going to be Rami Malek, isn't it? Yeah. As much as we both hate to say it, it's going to be Rami Malek. Don't get me wrong, he is brilliant in that film, but the film is not brilliant.
I truthfully haven't seen it, but from the clips I have seen, especially, I think everyone knows that Live Aid. Everyone knows the Queen Live Aid, and everyone knows, or that's seen Bohemian Rhapsody. My dad saw it, for example, and he's a big Queen fan, and he said,
did he like his performance?
Oh yeah, he was like, it's picture perfect. It is like, you can just tell, and Rami Malek has said this, he studied it, every little mannerism, every little hand gesture, every little facial expression in certain songs, you know, the way he kind of presents himself to the crowd and stuff, like it's perfect. Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be him. I think. Same. But who I want? That wasn't to say I wanted Christian Bale to win. I think he definitely has a chance. Who
you want?
Viggo, man.
Viggo Mortensen.
Aragorn.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I want Viggo Mortensen to take it. Poor Bradley Cooper, man. He thought he was gonna get every award.
You see, he was embarrassed.
He was embarrassed. Why?
He said he got snubbed for something in like the best director category in The Star Is Born.
Yeah,
I think he did right.
No, he's only won.
And he said he was embarrassed because he felt he like let his cast down or something. So I don't. I'm not.
Poor guy. He thought, oh, this is the year I'm gonna get fucking everything. No,
poor Bradley.
Nothing. I think a more interesting category, because it's a lot more of a tighter race, is Best Actress.
Yeah, definitely.
If I start with my thoughts, who I want to win it is Olivia Colman.
Yeah,
she is so good in that film. She is so good in that film. But who I think they're gonna give it to is gonna be Glenn Close. Do
you think it'll be like almost like a flip from the BAFTAs? She won it for the she won it.
I think the British Academy really wanted to award,
and it's a British story,
Olivia Colman. Yeah, I think the British Academy really wanted to push that film.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the American Academy is going to do the same thing. We'll just have to see. That's why I think it's going to be really close. Even Lady Gaga, I think, might even stand a chance, just because it would be an interesting award.
A singer turn.
It'd be an interesting winner.
Yeah, definitely.
And then even the girl from Roma, she's not an actress, and for her to be Oscar nominated in itself.
Oh, really?
She's not an actress at all. And for her to be Oscar nominated is something quite remarkable. That's why I think this category is just so interesting.
That goes back to Paul Greengrass's Captain Phillips. I'm the captain.
I am the captain now.
He was selling mobiles in where I forget where, Somalia, I think he's from.
Well, what do you think about that? Do you think that it's because, again, with
I think it's great.
Jonah Hill's new film, there's only like 2 or 3 actual actors that play the group of kids, and the rest of them are just skateboarders that he found.
There's an authenticity to it.
Yeah, I think it works. I think it depends on the nature of the film, but if it works towards benefiting the narrative, then it could only benefit the film.
Absolutely, especially when you have something whereby you're asking someone to portray. So this is kind of when Get Out was made. Daniel Kaluuya obviously is one of the the main characters, and Samuel L. Jackson had said, why wouldn't you cast an American in that role? As an African American, surely they would understand the struggles of.
Really, Sam Jackson.
He said that. Yeah.
What was the response?
I don't know what the general sort of consensus was. I think honestly, like, Daniel Kaluuya's his American accent is absolutely brilliant. But again, I have sympathy with that point of view. To take it back, when Mel Gibson made Apocalypto, those are not actors. Those are people that he had to go and find, and he was like training them on the job. Mm-hmm. Which I think it works when there's a cultural, when you're portraying something that is so dear probably to some people, you almost can't ask someone other than
the people themselves.
But it's strange though. Maybe I kind of contradict myself, because remember Clint Eastwood made that movie 1517 to Paris. It's the movie about the the American guys,
and they used the actual, and they were awful. Because they're not actors.
Yeah, so
they're soldiers.
It's a funny one, isn't it? You know, on the one hand, like Apocalypse was brilliant.
Yeah. I think it works if you're going for a really, really authentic, kind of like raw feel to your film.
That's the key word.
What I think about is probably Jonah Hill's film, I'm forgetting, mid-90s is what it's called. They were going for a vibe. It's filmed very similarly to how skateboarders film each other as well. I think that it's an authentic way to tap into that culture.
Exactly, and that's
I think that's why it works in their favor. And then same thing with Alfonso Cuarón with Roma. He cast someone that was authentically from that place.
You're drawing from their personal experiences.
Exactly, because the whole film is about his personal experiences growing up, and he wanted that to translate with the actors. And
I'm assuming that's why Clint Eastwood cast those two.
It just
those 3 guys. But I think like, and it's not their fault. Like, they're absolutely like heroes, and they should have accolade upon accolade sort of poured on them, but
not
as they sort of stick to the day job kind of thing.
Yeah. If we're looking for a category I really want to get your opinion on, is or what's actually interesting is the Oscars are going to be just announced that they're going to be cutting out the cinematography award and the editing award
crazy
from the broadcast, and just to make way for more commercial breaks and to cut down on the timing. What do you think about that?
I saw Guillermo del Toro was particularly upset about that.
A lot of filmmakers are really upset. I saw a lot of tweets from like people like Edgar Wright.
They're really getting rid of the cinematography?
Well, they're just not broadcasting it.
Right. Yeah.
But that just doesn't make sense to me. You can just combine things like sound mixing and sound editing. You can do things like, well, that's the thing, sound mixing. Who's watching the Oscars for a sound mixing award?
I mean,
no one really. That if you're talking about things that are on the lowest priority, not to say that it's not crucial to a film.
Yeah.
But if you rank it next to cinematography and editing, that's probably the two most important things in a film other than direction.
Yeah, I suppose I don't know how like the sort of the financial like structure of the Oscars is made up. I don't really know how they make their money and stuff, but obviously you can imagine if they're trying to make way for more advertising, then there's something quite lucrative coming their way, so money talks kind of thing. But that's a real shame.
Yeah,
especially cinematography.
I think they're gonna go back on it. I honestly.
Well, they went back on
the most popular.
I mean, like.
Well, they had made that category for Black Panther.
And for big studios to kind of
100% just to push even more. I want to get your opinion on the best animated feature. So we have Ralph Breaks the Internet, Marie, not heard of it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Incredibles 2, and Isle of Dogs. I want to know what you think it's going to go to and who you want it to go to.
Who do I want and who do I think it will?
Yeah, because this is a really interesting category.
I think it'll go to The Incredibles 2.
Really? You think they're going to do that?
Well, now that you have me here, actually, it's one of those things where, you know when films get traction?
Yeah.
Word of mouth?
Yeah.
So if you go back to Moonlight.
Yeah.
I think everyone knew that was going to be a good movie from a dramatic point of view.
Yeah.
And then it created buzz and word of mouth, and it won. You know, from a position where maybe not everyone maybe kind of knew about it.
Yeah, it wasn't pushed and marketed in the same way.
Yeah, so the parallel is Spider-Verse.
Yeah, that really, it got critical success, and I've seen most of these. And
I've heard a lot of people say it's one of their favorite Spider-Mans.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that it is their favorite Spider-Man.
Even better than Tobey Maguire.
So I went back and I rewatched
I got a lot of love for
Spider-Man 2 recently.
I got a lot of love for the first two.
Yeah, they are so charming. As corny and bad as the dialogue is, they are really, really charming.
I think those and it's one of those things like where, you know how certain movies at certain points in your life kind of like hit a note. Like I saw Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man, the first one was like, that's when they were having a conversation about like 12As and 12s.
Yeah.
I kind of set that debate. That was like the first 12 I ever saw or something, or something like that. And so it kind of, I just remember that movie.
That film just blew my mind. I love that so great.
Much. Willem Dafoe, he's just...
Yeah. Well, he's finally up for his Oscar this year. I've not seen it, unfortunately, but I do want to see it at Eternity's Gate. I think it's the name of the film. Yeah. I think I want Spider-Man to win. I want Spider-Man to win. And I would love to see it lose to The Incredibles 2. Not to say I don't like The Incredibles 2, but I don't think it is a better film than Spider-Man. I just don't think that.
I love I actually watched... I saw The Incredibles 2.
Yeah.
And you know when you come out of movies and you're trying to like dissect it and you sort of kind of like, did I like that? Did I not like that? Unless it's like just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And I came away thinking, right, that was a good movie. I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think it was as good as the first one.
No,
and I agree. And I still don't think that.
Yeah.
But I went and watched. I picked it up on DVD or Blu-ray, or whatever, and I rewatched it. I was like, okay, this is excellent.
Yeah.
But I think more. I hold the first one in really high esteem.
Yeah, I don't know if that's nostalgia or because that was one of my favorite movies growing up.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that film so much.
So you set the bar so high.
Yeah, it's difficult that I don't think. Thing is though, I went into Incredibles 2 going like, I know that this is not going to be better than the first one. Yeah. And it came close, but I knew it was never going to be better.
Yeah,
I knew that.
I think what it did a really good job was, sorry to cut you off, was it did a really good job of like having things for kids and then having things for adults.
Yeah.
If you think about like kind of the first one is more, I would say, more a kids movie in the sense that it's idolizing like your heroes. Whereas the second one deals with like, obviously the kids stuff is all like the Jack stuff and, you know, fighting with a, what is it, like a raccoon or something he fights with, like that those back and forths are brilliant. Like those scenes are really good, but then it deals with like sort of like big tech and
that kind of goes over the kids' heads. But I think it's
that was
it's
you know that's
written
the stuff
in such a way that it's almost like when you're a kid you're watching a different film, and when you're an adult you can kind of engage in the adult themes of the film.
It took the politics of sort of today, you know, like what is our relationship with society to like big tech companies, and also it took the idea of like women in the
and
work,
like roles within the family roles and stuff like that. I thought that was really interesting.
I thought it was a really good movie, a really good piece of work. I just think,
but better than Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
No,
I agree.
So yeah, I completely changed my mind. I think that Spider-Verse will win. Yeah. Nicolas Cage is in it, man. Mahershala Ali's in it.
Yeah, no, that's a great cast. It really does have a great cast.
Mahershala Ali is killing it.
He really is, man.
Have you seen True Detective?
No, not yet. I will watch it.
Check it out.
I will watch it.
Check it out. It's very good.
Cool.
He's very good in it.
Yeah, I guess that kind of wraps it up for the first one. We're going to probably be doing this every week. Just kind of dissecting what we've been watching and what's going on in the movie world.
And if you do like it, be sure to
share it around. Tell people to listen. It'll be quite interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.